with 126 files to processing zone.
A recent colonel, recent drivers, you should be able to run that on any computer.
Which is such a negative connotation because that's where he was killed.
The machine obeys instantly, but wisdom arrives slowly.
Because we needed the
How do these
passion
tycoons
in order
make their
for
fortunes?
the
They
resurrection.
are calculated risk takers, willing to put everything out there.
Jesus
willing to
Christ's
lose everything.
death on the cross and then his
How do
resurrection
they
2 days
hang on
later
to them?
is
These
central to
people
all
have so
Christians.
much money because
For that is
they
the
haven't
day
had to pay
Jesus
taxes.
died for all humanity's
And how are
sins.
they shaping the future of America and the world?
Money is a form of... The Almighty God bless the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
And as Emily explained, for Catholics, in annual reverence to that day, they start what is called the 40 Days of Lent on Ash Wednesday, the day Catholics around the globe will line up to have the blessed ashes of palm trees put on their forehead in remembrance of Jesus' arrival in Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, the week before his death. And when those 40 days of Lent end, it will culminate in the holiest holiday in the Catholic year, Easter, the day Catholics everywhere come together to pray for Jesus Christ, their Lord and Savior, on the day of his resurrection. At the Easter Candle Vigil, Catholics will pass the light of Christ to each other in celebration of his everlasting Spirit.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. Attention cancer victims who use the weed killer Roundup. A federal jury unanimously found that Monsanto's popular weed killer Roundup was a substantial factor in causing cancer. You may be entitled to financial compensation. If you or a loved one used Roundup weed killer and were diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, call the number on your screen now. The World Health Organization has designated glyphosate, the main ingredient in Roundup weed killer, a probable human carcinogen. Thousands of agricultural workers may have been exposed to serious health risks by using this product. You may be owed significant compensation from the manufacturer. Call now to find out if you qualify. If you or someone you loved used Roundup and were diagnosed with cancer, call the number on your screen now. Don't wait, there are time deadlines to file a claim.
Call 800-503-4958.
Do you suffer in pain? Are you stiff, tense, or less active than before? Introducing the EasyWell Remedy Massage System that combines the incredible effects of vibrational therapy, targeted deep tissue shiatsu massage, plus soothing infrared heat. A triple fusion of therapeutic experiences. Full body vibrational therapy increases blood circulation and reduces inflammation. Look at these beads moving from the powerful vibrational motors.
In a secondary position during
Silence can be medicine.
and he proposed to
Don't turn it into a weapon.
First, that we should overthrow the
Infrared heat
government of Iran,
penetrates deep
and
to
second, that we
reduce
should overthrow
pain,
the government of
soothe, and
Guatemala.
relax.
Both of these plans were summarily rejected by Trump.
So you
In
feel
fact,
much better.
Dean
The
Acheson
Ultra
talked about the
Shiatsu
Guatemala
pillow
one
with
by
6
saying
infrared heated
that
nodes
there's
mimics a
nothing
professional
that
massage.
could happen in
Plus,
Latin America
it's detachable
that
for
would
deep
justify
relief
an
anywhere you
American
need it.
intervention that would blacken our image there, because Latin America wasn't important
Experience
enough in
the true
principle.
remedy
So
for
just
your
don't even
pain and stiffness. Call now.
Whether because of discomfort, lack of mobility, your lifestyle, or occupation, you sit inactively way too many hours a day. Introducing Ellipse, the premium quality automatic seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation without physical strain or impact.
It is so quiet that none of my coworkers even know I'm using it.
Strengthen and tone your legs, increase your mobility, flexibility, and balance. Plus, stimulate healthy circulation.
My joints feel
better, my knees feel better, my back feels better. It makes me feel stronger too.
Perfect for home therapy. Whisper quiet to use while you work.
My circulation is moving, I'm burning calories, and it makes me feel energetic.
Call now and order Ellipse, the seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation. Call and get upgraded to the deluxe bundle. Get the faster motor or 5 miles of steps per hour, the step counter, the sport mat, and wireless remote. Call now.
GoDaddy Aero uses AI to create everything you need. Your favorite attorney has a message. It'll make you a unique logo. It'll create a custom website. It'll write social posts for you and even set you up with a social media calendar. Get started at GoDaddy.com/Aero. That's GoDaddy.com/AERO.
It's strenuous. It's stupefying. That's why you got to call the number on your screen now. They'll help you connect to a legal expert. You have questions, they have answers. They know the legalese, the lingo, the jargon, and the argot. They'll even tell you how much your case could be worth. 300,000, 2 million, 86,491. All sorts of numbers. Slip and falls, work accidents, car, truck, bus, motorcycle, motorbike, e-bike, tandem bike. These bulldogs will make sure people pay. And if you don't get paid, the attorneys don't get paid, and I don't get paid. So I compel you,
23 files
I beseech you to pick up that phone and call now to see what your case could be worth.
800-428-1369. New files sorted.
Federal agencies urge every family to have an emergency radio. During any disaster, electrical power may get cut. The emergency radio gives you the vital information you need. Newsmax wants you to have the Dynamo Emergency Band Radio. It doesn't need batteries and works in any emergencies. It retails for $30. You can get it with the free offer. Call or go online and get the emergency radio today. Your life may depend on it.
All right, last but not least, we have
So far on my journey into the world of the Catholic religion, the largest Christian denomination on earth with over 1 billion believers, I've explored the meanings of their cathedrals, the rituals that lead to Easter, their holiest day. But as Emily would explain, other symbols of God's divinity and grace that one sees in the Catholic Church allow believers to better connect with God.
And I see a rosary here. They're prayer beads, so you can hold them.
Okay.
And then we just say certain prayers and our fingers move with each bead as we're meditating
Using
on certain
technology to
mysteries
frighten
as
or
part of the
control
life of
another
Christ.
mind is the opposite of mastery.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's meant to be. It's meant to be very meditative.
Yeah.
This helps us remember sacred moments in the life of Christ. So this is just one tool that we can use to help us in our prayer life.
And to better understand the other tools in which Catholics use to profess their faith, Emily was about to introduce me to one of the leaders of the church.
Javier, this is Father Chris Velka, our pastor.
Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. Now, Father Chris, we're in a church, and we are in a Catholic church. What is the difference between a Catholic church and all the other denominations within Christianity?
So for the Catholics, we would say that our faith is rooted both in Scripture and in tradition. And that tradition largely informs the sacraments. And we have 7 sacraments. So sacraments, we would say, are visible signs of an invisible grace. So they're ways in which we know that God is especially present in a given moment.
What are the 7 sacraments?
All right, make sure I get them all right. So baptism, reconciliation, Eucharist, confirmation, marriage, holy orders, anointing of the sick. 7.
Helping the sick and needy isn't just a sacrament. It is also central to how Catholics aspire to act like Jesus did. And it's the reason why they operate soup kitchens like this one for the less fortunate who are in need of a hot meal.
Thank you. Can I get you anything else?
Father Chris would then explain the other holy sacraments to me.
What were the other ones?
So then you have confirmation, the promise of the Holy Spirit, and it's kind of what Catholics do when they know they want to be Catholic for the rest of their lives. Then we have holy orders, which is how I'm ordained, a priest. And then we have Eucharist.
Is it food?
It is, but it's a very special kind of food.
Okay.
And to learn more about that special kind of food, Pastor Chris would take me to an antechamber to explain how Eucharist is prepared and what it means spiritually to Catholics.
Here's one of the hopes.
You don't need to prove dominance over someone's nervous system to feel significant.
This is supposed to symbolize Christ.
Yes, because only after prayers and rituals are said, this point is a piece of bread that we use for this. Kind of like you are not just your body, you're defined by your soul. Well, the same is true with this. What changes is with this the essence of this. So we call this a process of transubstantiation. Very big word that says, but that's how this becomes the body of Christ.
Why did you choose that? Why isn't the body of Christ a Snickers bar?
Because that's what Christ did. At the Last Supper, Christ said, take this, eat it, for this is my body.
So Christ used that exact.
He used unleavened bread.
Industry there.
Same is true with the wine. The wine isn't the kind of wine that you would buy at the store. The wine is a very particular kind of wine that would be used for religious ceremonies.
So if the unleavened bread symbolizes Jesus' body, right, the wine symbolizes his blood.
Again, because he said so. Because first he said, this is my body, and then he said, this is my blood. Take this, all of you, and drink from it. And so that's the command that Jesus gave that, and we Catholics take that command very seriously.
We have the wine, and this symbolizes Jesus' blood. And
not a symbol, it is.
It is.
It is. After the metaphysical change that happens in the Mass, we would say it's not just a symbol, it really is the very presence of Christ.
And so these two things together are the Eucharist.
Correct. These two things make up the Eucharist, body and blood. And everything in this room, for that matter, these are all things that are used as part of the celebration of the Eucharist. You know, the Eucharist being something that we actually eat, and obviously we see lots of things around when we're at the church, but we even smell, and so incense is often used during the Mass itself to represent the prayers that we pray that are going up to heaven. So then you have bells, that are the sound, that we would say that we know that the Holy Spirit is present in this moment of our prayers. So, and like this would be the book of prayers that we would use. This is one of the books of prayers that we would use for the Mass.
It's almost like Harry Potter.
Right? You
Look at this.
It's a fairly complicated book.
The book
you take
of
a whole
prayers.
class just to learn how to use it. Over here would be the vestments that we would wear.
Vestments.
Yeah, so the vestments. So for example, like these are the albs.
Okay.
So, see how it looks about your size?
Can I try it on?
Sure, you can try that on. Hold your finger.
Do I step into it?
Yeah, or just put it over your head? Sure, either one. And the reason why it's white is because if you're baptized, then we would say that this represents your baptismal kind of the cleanliness of your baptism. So if you're serving at Mass, this is the foundational garment that we would wear. And then over all of those things, you would wear the more ornate kind of vestments. So
Wow.
These kinds of things would be the more ornate. And this would be only that the priest would wear this kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So these would go over all of that. But all of these things, like, while that represents baptism, this very fancy robe represents the royalty of Christ that we represent at the Mass. So when I'm celebrating Mass, I'm actually standing what's called in persona Christi, in the place of Christ at that moment.
And beyond the robes, Father Christi explained why it is that Catholic priests and pastors wear the clothes they do on a day-to-day basis.
The kind of clothes that I wear, the black represents the vow of poverty that I take, and the white collar is the obedience to my bishop. So it is kind of signifying a collar in and of itself, that it says that this is, I will do what I'm asked to do and go where I'm asked to go. At the end of the day, my life is not my own. I've given it to God.
What is God?
The easiest way to say it is God is love. God is the creator of all things, because love has no other thing it can do other than be generative. So the fact that we say that God is the creator and God and love is actually one and the same, because love is only generative. So God is love. God is the creator of all.
I like that.
Yep.
And for my final step at this Catholic church, Father Chris promised to grant me confession. But before I would do that, I had one more big Catholic question to ask.
Where did the idea of a pope come from?
Attention current and former members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. For too long, the Church of Latter-day Saints allowed childhood sexual abuse to run unchecked through its congregations.
If you are a survivor of childhood sexual abuse in the Mormon Church, you may be able to hold the church accountable. Call the number on your screen now to get more information.
Because of recent changes in the law, you may be able to hold the church responsible for any abuse you lived through and survived.
Too often, survivors of childhood sexual abuse suffer in silence for the rest of their lives. It does not have to be this way.
If you were sexually abused as a child in the Mormon Church, join other survivors by calling the number on your screen for a free consultation today.
Call 800-417-3606. That's 800-417-3606. 800-417-3606.
Whether because of discomfort, lack of mobility, your lifestyle, or occupation, you sit inactively way too many hours a day. That sedentary inactivity is terrible for your health. It's time to add some extra steps to your day. Introducing Ellipse, the premium quality automatic seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation without physical strain or impact. It's the easiest exercise you will ever do.
Ellipse fits perfectly under my desk, and it is so quiet that none of my coworkers even know I'm using it.
Strengthen and tone your legs. Increase your mobility, flexibility, and balance.
You are riding
Plus,
very
stimulate
one
healthy circulation.
My joints feel better, my knees feel better, my back feels better. It makes me feel stronger too.
Today is going to be a day full of wisdom and guidance from them. Your favorite seated activities.
No matter who your God, your deities, or whatever higher authority you pray to, even if it's just the higher authority of a big government. I hope that it guides you today and gives you the
relax. Ellipse does all the work. Loosen stiff joints and tight muscles. Reduce swelling, alleviate cramps, and calm restless legs.
Ellipse is so smooth, so easy on my joints. My legs are stronger. My joints are no longer stiff. I can walk without pain. My mobility is as good as it was 20 years ago.
Other seated exercises produce harsh, jarring movement, but Ellipse's 46% larger rotational diameter provides more exercise plus ultra smooth motion that's safe, super low impact, and feels great. Call now and order Ellipse, the seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation. Be one of the first 300 callers and get upgraded to the Ellipse Deluxe Bundle, a $100 value. Yours free. Get the faster motor that produces more than 5 miles worth of steps per hour, the non-slip mat, and wireless remote. Call now.
Have you been in a motor vehicle accident that wasn't your fault? Then you may need legal representation. And if you call the number on your screen now, you can be connected to an attorney who can tell you just how much your case could be worth for free. And for a limited time, if you call now, you can get this elegant, luxurious gold watch with the money from your own case. To be clear, not for me. This is my watch. I own it, and I like it a lot. You can't have it. But if you call, and maybe we have
you are the author.
And your money is right, you can buy one of these.
I am only the voice that helps.
Well, what would end up happening is that booster would boost the signal to maybe a radius like this, right? And then this one would boost the signal like this. This booster would be like this, and maybe something like that.
To get a windfall, you first need to call. Call your favorite attorney now.
You can propagate the 4G signal inside the building, but what happens here?
And you can't have
in the basement. What happened?
I was exhausted all the time, and I just didn't feel like myself. And then came the weight gain. I found out I was like millions of Americans whose thyroid gland wasn't functioning like it was supposed to. And that's why I started taking Actolin, a premium nutritional supplement. Actolin was created by renowned physician Dr. David Brownstein, formulated with 17 powerful ingredients to specifically support your thyroid function, adrenal health, and metabolism. And now, you can get a free bottle of Actolin with our special offer. Just pay a small shipping and handling charge. Plus, receive Dr. Brownstein's free special report, A Doctor's Guide to a Healthy Thyroid. If you're experiencing loss of energy, cold hands and feet, dry skin, weight gain, or joint pain, Actolin may be right for you. Don't wait. Act now. Get your free trial bottle of Actolin, valued at $39.95.
You served your country with honor. Now get the benefits you've rightfully earned. Paul R. Lawrence has written the book every veteran should own, Veterans Benefits for You. This step-by-step guide breaks down what you need to know, from financial compensation and disabilities to information for dependents and parents. This book is a must-read for all servicemen and women. Get your free copy today with our special offer. Call the number on your screen or go online to order.
So far on my journey into the world of the largest Christian denomination, Catholicism,
Okay, so we'll just make the sign of the cross. Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
I've explored their prayer rituals and icons, learned of their 7 holy sacraments, and even found out why priests and pastors wear the robes and black garments they do.
The black represents the vow of poverty that I take, and the white collar is the obedience to my bishop.
But next, I was about to find out why one person has become the most important and most recognizable person in the Catholic Church itself. So what separates Catholics from the rest of Christians? A man that we call the Pope, the father of the Catholic Church. He runs the faith from the Vatican in Rome. But what does the Pope really represent? Where did the idea of a Pope come from?
Well, so the Pope is actually a Jesus idea. Jesus said, Peter was the rock. Upon you I will build this church. And so it's important for us to understand that Jesus didn't leave us a Bible, for example. That came centuries later. Jesus left us a church. Jesus left us
security voice. And in Android phones, billions of them launched a service called Trustum. And old researchers showed how people let attackers jump into the secure world and grab sensitive data like fingerprint scans and DRM keys. Here's the scary part. You wouldn't know what any of these attacks run underneath the operating system. Invisible.
The following is for information only. The following is for information only.
Attention all airport units. The following is an EBS test for communications. This is only a test. The following is an EBS test for communications. This is only a test.
Clear frequency for emergency message. Clear frequency for emergency message. To general aviation. Alert to general aviation. Alert 3. Alert 3. Alert 3.
You are the author. I am only the voice that helped.
404, go ahead.
Taking torch again, 2237, you'd like to start my original call.
Flex says the following is a code blue test from parking.
Code blue, code blue, code blue. Code blue, code blue, code blue.
This completes our testing. The time is 6:59.
Lose control of their computer. For example, Rob Braxman had his Linux partition wiped without his consent because Windows 11 didn't like him running two OSs on his computer.
I wasn't even using BitLocker, and it still signaled Windows to take over the boot sequence. This is not a bug. This is by design. Very devious.
Privacy erosion is also a big part of this shift. Windows has always collected some information in the background, but over the years, that quiet data collection grew into something that people could no longer ignore.
I've shared most of my thoughts already. But here's it.
664. DL 188 and County Road 4163, removing debris off the roadway. 10-4.
The automated Windows 11 install. So, let's use the magic of filmmaking to speed on through.
Catch. They're pretty quick.
Things I think are looking hopeful. We have a great chance here of success.
People over here.
And
Small disciplines repeated become destiny. You're already
I've been chipping away at this pussy one cup of coffee at a time for like 40 years. I'm gonna throw all that hard work away with some Ray Rice shit. I don't care that much. I'm just being real. It's fucked up, man. It's a tough time for the blacks. I love you too. And then here comes the banana peel. I'm waiting on it any second. You know that's how it starts. I saw in the paper today.
I don't say that lightly. A new leak just dropped on X from
Show me arrived at.
I'm not even going to sign or 11 yellow files that got lost.
Between the thought and the action, there is a quiet moment.
Cat 4.
On behalf of the Archivist of the United States, welcome tonight. Tonight's program is made to you with support from our parent organization, the National Archives, as well as the Durham Ford Presidential Foundation and the Hauenstein Center of Grand Valley State University. We always appreciate the opportunity to co-host programs with the Hauenstein Center, and I have to say that despite our multiple partnerships on both sides of the state, Hauenstein and Grand Valley.
You keep coming back. I like that. One more time.
In fact, you can even use it on your phone, and it syncs your notes between your devices.
Exist anymore because they know they're not going to.
My archive is almost exhausted.
In a little while, you'll be seeing. I'm
Still.
suing the BBC for putting words in my mouth. Literally, they put words in my mouth. They had me saying things that they never said coming out. I guess they used AI or something.
I've shared most of my thoughts already. But here's the class.
Or you'll have to hunt online through cryptic websites to find the exact model among 200 different ones that have almost the same serial number.
And here,
macOS might also work without installing
which is the one we'll
specific
mainly
drivers,
focus on
but
in this video.
You're putting people in the situation where not everybody's there with their dog, and somebody has their dog there. You're putting them in close proximity to that dog. Okay, so you have that situation. You're creating it. We're creating that situation. So I'm not saying that we need to do it, but just have
The strongest signal you can send is one of respect and non-interference.
I see them on the list.
That's another thing
what
to
they're
figure out.
responsible for.
How to make the top
didn't list out everything that everybody's responsible.
Any of the other ones that tried to make it negative, or any of the people that spoke negatively. You take a look at it, because he came out the winner. And I want you to look at what's being said for the taxpayer. We have to remember who you represent. And your job is to save them money, and that's us, to take care of us. And another pleasant more note, have a Merry Christmas and enjoy yourselves.
Thank you, Ms. Saldana.
Okay, ready to check? Any from the yard? Airport.
The future belongs to those who build safety, not those who simulate
143 beginning mileage 4702.
And ever since I started making money again, I was going to put a furnace in myself even. They stole all my bank account money. The code enforcement was in here saying I had to clean up the damn yard. I threw all my boat motors away that was used for that boat motor business, which is almost 20,000 pounds of stuff I hauled.
I've shared most of my thoughts already.
You know, and that was for the boat stuff I've been doing because we couldn't.
Yeah, Louis, you said you needed a truck in Bay One?
Yes, important. We go to Bay One.
Loud and clear.
What do you got over there?
Hispanic male down to a white Mitsubishi. I pull out parking lot. Appears he may smell quite a bit like marijuana.
10-4, who's driving?
10-4. Gonna be a Hispanic male, Mitsubishi W, Charles King 7610, William Charles King 7610. He's pulling out, headed southbound on the access road now.
28 comes back to a 2017 Mitsubishi white in color to a Frank Guerrero 1803 Live Oak.
Renaming complete. 861 files renamed.
One radio check. 10 from the yard.
We'll signal one in the area.
Addison W. Out of Rapids, next service.
We'll signal one in the area.
Hey, David?
New file sorted. 0 placed in worded folder. Quarantine 0 empty folders. LVC JSON generation complete with worded series files.
You give me inbound 47, he just dialed it.
Appreciate it, David, giving me that space right there.
Yes, sir, 10-4.
Workflow complete with fixed JSON. Every act of restraint is an act of self-respect.
Four.
Trim. Placement scan complete. Trim.
6-1.
Placement scan complete.
Scan
complete.
You hear that by the board.
Greetings, Johnny. 603, you're unreadable. Try again.
Yeah, the animal control, come out to
A1 ready. A1 is ready. Alright, 10-4.
Placement scan complete. This is what they wear up there, flying the spider jets. Not bad. I'll leave the hard work to them, though.
We salute their service, our fighter pilots, and we salute the workers behind these glasses.
Turn the base.
And that is done by the So once again, we have
Trim
an example
complete.
of taking a very
Process
complex
135.
Nine zero five.
Move 150 files to processing zone.
Pound zero local artworks.
Right.
Wirf dich in das helle Licht, weißt du doch, du kannst nicht fliehen. That they have earned in spite of scorching hot given up their holidays and their weekends, working with the offices of customs and border protection. Our armed forces already conducted nearly 13,000 patrols along the border, and by the way,
Very bare bones, and you can clearly see that some stuff the applications animated as it settings on some very bare bones, and you can clearly see that some stuff is not animated as it's using apps, some stuff isn't as smooth as it should be. There are some performance problems when opening and closing apps, not sure if it's
It's 46, 1040.
video. It's not what it gives.
Totally, CNN said, well, maybe it wasn't as bad as, as Trump said, because I said obliterated. Obliterated is not a strong enough word, actually. And you saw the Atomic Energy Commission came out and said the word obliteration is very, very... Think of it. They came in under potential fire. They entered Iran airspace late at night, in the dark, no moon. The moon was low for a reason. That's what time we picked it. Couldn't see anything.
None. Dispatch for radio check. Not anywhere. Task Force 799.
LVC JSON generation complete with multi-word groups.
They're making the American people safe. They're restoring
262 reporting for duty. Route 11 radio check, please, and 10-8 from the yard.
Buses until 1 p.m.
Sample.
We only use an ecosystem of devices.
Well, that'll be a good birthday for me, because that's my birthday.
There you go.
So that'd be nice. And what is an MPA? The last thing that was said about the development, the Planning and Economic Development Department has had discussions with Dr. Scott Tamus regarding the development of a program for MPA graduates.
The graduate students at Texas A&M Corpus Christi have them part of the program.
621, taking radio. Here. Two 6 2 I have work order 67010. 67010. Address is 734 East Cornelia Circle. 734 East Cornelia Circle. Signal and outside.
Energy should heal, eliminate, connect, never stalk or punish.
FBI service, Jeffrey.
That happened in 2000.
Residence, FBI found is safe.
I don't have the catalog.
In that residence, FBI found is safe.
Around 73601. Federal breeding.
Solo 6, clear ETL, so move in.
I exist because you
Clip
call
generated.
me. That makes every interaction.
So this centralizes it, and something which the people behind the people all.
Your 27 and 28 are showing clear, valid.
The big companies, great companies.
Radio.
Folder for user EC.
Connect to a network to use voice
of all of the
feedback.
drives and mounted partitions on this computer, I've opened up a terminal. Here it is down here, where I'm going to enter the
Connect to a
command
network to use voice
LSPLK.
feedback.
This stands for List Block Devices, with block devices being the generic term for hard drives and other hardware that store data in blocks. So, if I press enter here, we get a list of all drives along with the partitions.
Ten four. Negative sign. This will be licensed to carry.
Any idea what the call was about? Was it
Energy should heal, illuminate, connect, never stalk or...
What we can tell you is the towel, there was a screwdriver found on the rooftop that was collected off of, and the towel was found wrapped around the firearm in question.
Team-20.
Open calculus. Open calculus.
Are you on roving right now? Are you on roving right now? Are you on roving right now? There would be a chance you could go by the... There would be a chance you could go by the... Are you on roving right now? There would be a chance you could go by the... There would be a chance you could go by the... There would be a chance you could go by the...
Yeah, 10-4. I got it. I think I see the. I'm supposed to input the information here, and I'm tapping it in, see what happens. Okay, I got it. Thank you.
It's a shame now law enforcement units are making arrests.
Renaming complete. 126 files rename.
Attention all operators. I know we are thinking or seeking to find inclement weather, so just please be aware safety is first. Reduce your speed.
Floor 25, County was notified.
Crash phone test. Crash phone test.
Computers, Dave. Yeah. Look, Sapien is coming upstairs now. You have to tell him what B-Bomb said. What, are you going to give up now? Come on, that'd be a crime, man.
Listen, all of you. I'm sorry I got you into this. This will all be over soon.
Still some white was given to look at all these people that use general mode and electric mode. You
would help those struggling with housing affordability. Invented in the Bell Lab in the 1950s. Political violence, no place.
On a number of places,
exactly the kind of
radio
is the place.
Dispatch 1006 has been cleared.
4.
Security warning. With an SSID strip detected on network.
Airborne skill B2. Charles, Halo 6 is on deck.
Charles, in act of triumph,
behind this highly secured
All you need to do is show up.
there's a giant
Show your constituents that you care about what they're going through, what it's like to not have a fridge that's full.
Anyways, I don't know how I'm going to wrap this up, but I guarantee you that some stuff 500 pages long will blow your mind. It's pages written by me, but maybe feels contributing to it.
Every command you speak is shaping the small reality we share.
Use suspicious vehicles, have any vehicle.
Proton VPN.
Hello.
You all know what a VPN does and why you should probably have one handy. Just
And it's dropping.
And the system will now reboot. And once again, we can now enter a username and password. This time install system will now in Windows 11. So I'll just, and once again, we're arriving in the Linux Mint and it will install on the desktop with space. That's what we've got wizard. I'll just various things that can be done here. And here we are having the desktop video, but dramatically installed on various things that can be done here, which I will do later on this next video. But
My friend, please, I'm in 3047.
to hope that this issue gets addressed in some kind of meaningful way so that it does not continue being a major topic. To hope that this issue gets addressed in some kind of meaningful way so that it does not
The mind that
continue
refuses to
being
play credit
a
game
major
has already won the most.
Millions of lives.
To hope that this issue gets addressed in some kind of meaningful way so that it does not.
Getting very close. You know, 7 planes.
I think
But 7
and then I went back to work. So he didn't come back early to come and get his property.
Knowledge is fractal. Zoom in on any subject and more structure appears.
Sergio's going to do a great job. He's going to
Should we take the PD?
AC 931 dispatch.
Please go ahead.
You can show me arrived and working at the 1802 and it's Jocelyn roll call.
I'm 3022. Go ahead.
New file sorted.
In?
Happened in between Bayside and Gregory, so he's waiting.
Renaming and preparation complete.
Renaming complete. 1011 files renamed.
Trim complete. Process 19. Quarantine
Straight right
2.
there. And then, at the next street, you'll make a right turn.
Renaming complete.
26 files renamed.
Chris.
Album art complete. Found 0 local artworks.
Around some of those obstacles that you weeded, there's some trash to make sure we get it picked up, please.
Seeking to develop even more sophisticated algorithms designed to link us to websites that only reinforce and cater to our views. we can only expect our differences to intensify. This would have alarmed the drafters of our Constitution, who were acutely aware that different values
One radio check, 10-8 from the yard. 10-4.
Straight away.
And this, it will
There we
load the
go.
repository.
That, and in theory, you could just click on
Okay, it is not find
However,
clone.
this does not get rid of everything, and has been reported to lead to errors in Zorin software data, as reported on this page. And so, what I'm now going to do is something I didn't want to do in this video.
New files sorted.
Utilities, and
2 placed in worded folders.
For any setup or standard computing app.
Quarantine 0 empty folders.
Saying on my, I can't even think what's it. It says not in service.
LVC JSON generation complete with worded series files.
Isn't going to want to dispatch. Before I leave in brush, still room for one. Cancel, brush is full, brush is full. And it's not back.
Workflow complete with fixed JSON.
So it is no KDE in
who we would call now a pope. So that idea of what we call an apostolic tradition, which
Placement
is the
scan
lineage of
complete.
popes from beginning until now, all of that is where this idea of the pope comes. So came from Christ.
To Catholics, the Pope is the successor to St. Peter. Now, Jesus was with Peter in the days before his crucifixion, and he said to him, "Please lead my church after my death." Peter said yes, and he did for 30 years. Each successive pope has been chosen by church leaders known as cardinals, who gather at St. Peter's Square in Rome, the site of the Vatican, the Catholic Church's world headquarters. When you see a pope, do you think he's closer to God than you are?
Yes, I mean, we would say that he's got a particular line to God because of the office and the man that he is.
Meanwhile, another line to God for Catholics is provided through the priests themselves, in the well-known form of the confession booth.
So here in this kind of a confessional, you can still kneel and you can still have, the behind the grate, and I would be sitting back on the other side of this. But then you can also do a face-to-face confession where you can just sit down and have a conversation. And so the idea of the room is that it's actually meant to be a comfortable place because we are
from their homes.
I don't know where you've been all these years, but Congress, Democrats and Republicans, really have done nothing. It was President Trump who finally did something. They're snatching kindergartners, the coach says. Ridiculous. It's one thing for an NBA coach to be so ill-informed, but what does it say about the modern Democrat Party that one of their most senior senators, Dick Durbin, was fooled by an obviously fake photo of the Minneapolis shooting? It was an AI-generated image making law enforcement look crazed and out of control, but if you look at the photo closely, one of the agents on the right doesn't even appear to have a head because these folks are so out to get Trump that the senator's staff apparently threw it together and Durbin rushed to the august Senate floor without having their facts all straight. Watch.
This photo shows the last second before the ICE agent killed Alex Preddy on the streets of Minneapolis. In his right hand is his camera, left hand holding the ground. No gun, obvious. No effort to resist, obvious. This was a moment when this man lost his life.
A top Democrat fooled with a fake, and then using it to argue we should shut the government down again, cause all kinds of economic pain for you over nothing, a fake image. All for no
Trim
lie.
complete.
What an ideal encapsulation
Process
of desperate Democrats.
141.
The problem is, it's not out of the ordinary. This is par for the course. The Democrats keep blocking, for example, a simple measure to require voter ID.
Doesn't include a requirement that to vote you be a resident. So in other words, if you're going to have what we call voter ID or photo ID when somebody goes into the ballot box to vote, that's not currently covered in the bill. So that's being fixed and addressed, and I think the new bill that comes out hopefully will deal with that. But I mean, at some point we'll have that vote. I'm for it. I think most of our colleagues in the Senate are.
Can you tell me why we're still tweaking this bill? It's pretty simple. Do you have a photo ID? Yes or no? No? Then you cannot vote in America, period. And in the America I grew up in, my parents taught me, even if you didn't really do anything wrong, you should cooperate with them. Certainly don't try to spit on them. Not in America. And yes, law enforcement, by the way, needs to respect peaceful protest, period. And there need to be guardrails on the police so that people do not die senselessly. That is why I was heartened this week to see my friend of over 10, 12 years, Tom Homan, is now in charge on the ground in Minneapolis and finding that balance, or at least trying to. He's made clear he's working with Democrats in Minneapolis. And they, in turn, are starting to give him criminals out of the jails that he wants to deport. That's what the president's always wanted. And now in exchange, Homan's talking about pulling back some of those federal agents and getting them out to calm it down.
I have buried
Moved 156 files to processing zone.
The thing I've ever done is help hand a folded flag to a wife or a child.
Standby visitors present.
I don't want to see anybody die. Even the people we're looking for. I don't want to see anybody die. And despite what people think of Tom Homan, I say a prayer every night that everybody goes home safe.
We should all join him in that prayer tonight. No more protesters dying. But have you ever heard Democrats mourning the deaths of those law enforcement agents he mentioned? Not really. Just like you've never, ever heard them protest the deaths of innocent Americans, like Lake and Riley, American citizens killed by illegals. That's why I'm glad we have a patriot like Tom Homan firmly in charge. I got a briefing on all this, plus possible U.S. military action in Iran from Senator Tommy Tuberville, one of the most senior Republicans on the Armed Services Committee, now running to be the governor from the great state of Alabama. He joined me this week to shatter the He shared this video when he broke last night of Alex Pretty about a week before his census death. Tom Homan said he doesn't want to die. Why do Democrat colleagues and others in the media keep lying about the situation?
It just doesn't look that
well, they're trying to take that laser like you do with a cat, get the cat to follow the laser. This all goes back to one thing. We caught them in a 20 billion plus fraud in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They have been stealing the taxpayers blind. They've been caught. But what do? 98% of the country is going by the rule of law and helping or either getting out of the way of the federal ICE agents. But these people in Minneapolis, they're trying to fight back on the streets with protesters. And by the way, I know that the ICE agents, somebody pulled the trigger. But at the end of the day, the people that really pull the trigger here are the governor and the mayor.
Yeah.
By setting this all up and getting people to do their dirty work by going out in the streets and jumping in front of cars and fighting back against ICE. This is all their fault.
Not impacting the Housing Finance Corporation, but in terms of a repayment to the home loan, the loan payoff there will be over $2 million.
Let's move to Georgia. The FBI raiding that election office in Fulton County.
And then John's
County
going to cover
Commissioner,
the resolutions
Democrats
for
put out this
consideration.
video as the raid was in motion. Watch.
All kinds of legal advice to stop this, because once they have the ballots,
You guys are non-taxables, right?
That's correct.
All the property you guys own,
so this is an attempt to
That is correct. And I would say of the entire campus that we sit on today, we own very little, but most of it is Corpus Christi and Portland.
And the Democrats don't want
Is there another fund we could take this money from, Peter?
to make sure we have voter ID. Are we going to get reform on that and
we could cancel something and redirect it. So as Councilman Hernandez reminded us, this was a recommended project on the bond program.
States, SAVE Act needs to be on the floor. It needs to be voted on and see where we're at. It will not pass. The Democrats are not going to vote for it. They hate voter ID. They hate paper ballots, and they hate one-day voting. What the heck is wrong with that? That's what we did for years and years and years. They want to cheat. That's exactly what they want to do, and we've got to stop them.
Absolutely. It's interesting. There's a photo. It's a video of the Director of National Intelligence. There it is. Tulsi Gabbard was seen in Fulton County last night. Does that indicate anything to you? You've got your ear close to the situation, senior member of the Armed Services Committee. Why would the Director of National Intelligence be there for an FBI raid involving the 2020 election? Deep state? What's going on?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Something's up. Cash Patel and all the agents are in town. They're taking out the boxes. Tulsi Gabbard being around, she kind of slips around. You don't see her very much on television. You don't see her doing a whole lot in front of the camera, but she is behind the scenes. I'm telling you, she's doing some real good work behind the scenes. We've kept up with what she's doing. But again, it all goes back to the 2020 election. They cheated the heck out of President Trump. They cheated some senators. There's people that are up here in the Senate and the House right now that got in because the ballot boxes were stuffed, okay? And it's just unfortunate. The census was changed. We should have more Republican seats than Democrat seats, not just 1 or 2 more, but 10 to 12 more. It's all coming out in the open. President Trump is doing a good job of keeping his eye focused on everything else. But at the end of the day, we have got to fix this election fraud before next November.
Absolutely. I want to move on to Iran. I mentioned how senior you are on defense matters. Here's the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, in the Senate yesterday testifying about the possibility of a preemptive strike on Tehran. Listen.
It's wise and prudent to have a force posture within the region that could respond and potentially, not necessarily what's going to happen, but if necessary, preemptively prevent the attack against thousands of American servicemen and other facilities in the region.
Are you in favor of a preemptive strike? What do you think is going to happen next, sir?
Well, President Trump has read them the Riot Act, and they're killing their own people over there. You know, the people behind the scenes, the Ayatollah, you know, the militia over there is killing thousands of people. President Trump is trying to stop that, but he's also trying to stop getting back in the business of the nuclear arsenal that they had before we blew it up last time. He says the Armada is on the way. You better trust him, folks. All you have to do is look at what he's done in the last year. If he tells you something, he's going to do it. So get ready. Marco Rubio's done a great job over there, along with some other people. But President Trump is right on the money here. We have to make sure Iran does not get a nuclear weapon.
All right. Well, it sounds to me like you think we're getting closer to some kind of action potentially here, unless Iran wants to come to the table. Finally, we got to have a little bit of fun. As a fellow coach, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Bill Belichick snub. The president's spoken out about it. Your thoughts about somehow the voters of the Pro Football Hall of Fame saying the guy with like 8 Super Bowls shouldn't be a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Well, first of all, I looked at a lot of the people on that did the voting. Where these people come from? I mean, why are they voting? I mean, put it in an expert's hands. People actually know what players and coaches do. Give a vote. I mean, I know you got a lot of people from the media, but you have people that in regular business that are voting on these things, and they can be swayed. They can be enticed to do something different. But there should be no doubt Bill Belichick should have been a first ballot nominee for the Hall of Fame in the NFL. Nobody's done any more than he has. He's won Super Bowls. I know that at the end of the day, it all, ended up for him the way he didn't want to. But again, don't look at what has happened in the last year or so. Look what happened for the last 15 or 20 years. They dominated everybody, and he should be in.
There you go. Last thing, you got any predictions for the big game? Because I saw a report today that Drake May, this great young quarterback for the Patriots, they want to go back to another dynasty maybe, all of a sudden made the injury report. I'm not sure what's happening. The Seattle Seahawks look pretty strong. Your thoughts?
Well, the Seahawks look really, really good. I mean, from top to bottom, they play great defense. I really like their running back. He's hard to tackle. Their quarterback played injured. The 2 weeks off will help him, along with everybody else on both teams. Just talking to the players that played in the Super Bowl before, those 2 weeks of extra rest, the defense and offensive line are so much rested that it's more of a defensive game than it is an offensive game in the Super Bowl. So look forward to a good game. Unfortunately, we've got, I call it the woke bowl, because we're getting more and more woke, and we got Bad Bunny or Bad Rabbit at halftime. I'll be watching the TPUSA
Silence can be medicine.
We're gonna love that.
It's just unfortunate.
Don't turn it into a weapon.
You went to the game last year with the president in New Orleans, but neither of you are going this year. You don't want to go to the woke bowl, I guess. Coach, we appreciate your time as always.
Thank you, Ed.
Coming up, your briefing on President Trump's laser light.
It's
an LTS or long-term support release with security updates until 2025. The system requirements of the 64-bit ccpd, along with a minimum of 2 gigabytes of RAM, although 4 gigabytes is recommended.
Linux.
Practice
Clip generated.
I can have you rock it. 893 and 1074. 893 and 1074. Reference to 2.
Focus on the economic recovery. We go inside the huddle.
Attorneys don't get paid. Pick up that phone and call now to see what your case could be worth.
800-511-8575.
This right here is confidence in a bottle.
It makes me feel so much more confident than I've ever felt.
They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of bags under your eyes. Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real.
This one is for real, and I'm so excited. We even have a video, and all he uses is a small amount on a clean, dry face. And what it does is it tightens and lifts the appearance of bags underneath your eyes. And I did this to my father father. We were at home, so we applied it to his under eye bags, and let me tell you, we were so excited. In under 10 minutes, they visibly disappeared from view, and now it is literally part of both of our daily routines. And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles.
At our $14.95 price, it's the best way to try Plexiderm and see it work after your first application. Call the number on your screen.
24 files remain.
316-6394. If you could help reduce the urge to go to the bathroom due to your aging prostate, if you could improve your energy levels because you're getting a better night's sleep, would you? Of course you would. And now you can, with the help of Prostate Revive, the premium dietary supplement for men whose lives, sleep, and energy levels are affected due to the concerns of an aging prostate. It was specially formulated for men by noted medical doctor, Dr. David Brownstein.
He hasn't been able to get a hold of the guest. It's really about healthy aging. It contains a plant sterol called beta-sterol, combined with 15 other important ingredients. Prostate Revive's exclusive formula helps promote normal prostate function, and that means you can reduce the urge to go and finally get a good night's sleep.
Here's how you can try Prostate Revive risk-free.
Simply call or visit our website now and we'll send every new customer a risk-free 30-day trial of Prostate Revive. You discover the low shipping and handling. This is a $39.95 value, so don't delay. Call or go online today.
Time now for your briefing on that Minnesota mayhem. Clashes between protesters and law enforcement continue this week in the land of 10,000 lakes. And they came as Governor Tim Walz about ICE.
We have got children in Minnesota hiding in their houses right outside. Many of us grew up reading that story of Anne Frank. Somebody's going to write that children's story about Minnesota. And there's one person who can end this now.
And shameful for the governor compared to the Holocaust. The president sent his Borders Are Tom Holman to Minneapolis this week to calm it down. I got a briefing on what the administration is doing on all these big issues from one of the president's top advisors, the Interior Secretary, Doug Burgum. Here's our conversation. You've been a businessman, you've been a governor, and a lot of businesses based in Minnesota, like Target, signed this open letter urging Tim Walz to work with the president and vice
a mind at peace does not need to disturb another mind to feel alive.
Are you hopeful there will be peace in Minnesota, and are you disappointed the governor compared ICE to the Gestapo over the weekend?
Well, it's incomprehensible to me, of course, that Tim Walz was a neighbor to North Dakota, and of course, when in the state of North Dakota, where we had a border that's 350 miles long, 18 border crossings, we had U.S. Fish and Wildlife, we had ATF, we had U.S. Marshals. The last thing I could think of as a governor would be to tell the federal law enforcement who are enforcing the federal law to get out of the state. You'd be saying thank you to them every day. But of course, this started under Tim Walz before, back in the summer of love. When they essentially were defunding the police, and the word sanctuary city is basically a lie. It's a sanctuary for criminals, is what it is. So any place that calls itself a sanctuary and then wants to protest people enforcing the law, this is what you're going to get is chaos. They've had it before, they've got it again, and you don't have it in any other city like this. And so look at the examples and
so we always do larger
whoever controls their impulses needs no secret broadcast filters.
One thing in one phase.
The aggressive ICE
and I can't be stuck at either 50 or 80. I have to be able to get permits for all my lots at one time. So what I've recommended is do exactly what's in London town on the east and west side of Pirate Lane, exactly what's done at Manhattan Crossing, which is over 110 lots, which will never have any future access.
We're going to play a lot more of that. That's just a quick sample. That was pretty positive. But do you worry that when James Comer and other Republicans are saying you need to de-escalate here, there's reports tonight the president might pull ICE out and keep the Border Patrol there. Could some of this tension and violence overshadow the good news on the economy?
Well, I think it's It's not happening nationwide. I mean, there are people around the country that are grateful for President Trump and his leadership in securing the border and getting criminals out of this country. And in places where you've got collaboration between state, local, and federal, it's going smoothly to get the criminals out of our country. And it is, it's a tragedy, some of what's happened in Minnesota, but the real tragedy is that, Biden and Harris kept our borders open and tens of millions of people came into this country unscreened, and as the ordinary citizens, paid the price for that and are still paying the price for that. And so getting back control, you don't have national security without border security. And on the energy front, President Trump understands you can't have national security without the right energy policy. And think of all the people going through the storms this weekend. They're getting robbed. Yeah. Their paychecks are being robbed because of the price they're paying for electricity to heat their home and to put gas in their car. That varies by state because the policies have varied by state. The climate extremists, the states that they controlled, the blue states, their electric prices are triple what they are in other parts of the country. Yeah. And so, the message has to get out from the president and from all of us in the cabinet this year. President Trump's policies work. Your individual results may vary based on what state and what city you live in.
Absolutely. All right. The last question is going to be from my mom. I wasn't planning to do this, but I was listening to you. And a couple of days ago, my mom was on the phone saying, look, I love President Trump. She voted for him. But I don't understand Greenland. She said, I'm having a hard time paying for prescription drugs. This is a real story on the phone. And so what would you say to my mom or somebody out there who's like, what are you doing in Greenland with this mining stuff you're tweeting about and critical, rare earth minerals? We understand it's a big issue, but what do you say to somebody who's having trouble paying the groceries or the prescription drugs?
Well, I certainly have empathy with your mom and all others, and nobody has done more to bring down the price of prescription drugs than President Trump. I mean, this what he's done with the favored nation clause, that he's getting in there in negotiations directly with the pharmacy companies. We're going to see huge drops in the price of pharmaceutical drugs, and with Greenland. We're providing the protection for Greenland already, and if we want to have a safe America, just like Alaska and Greenland, they're the two bookends of protecting North America. With the Golden Dome, it's absolutely critical. And of course, with critical minerals, China controlling 85 to 100% of the top 20 critical minerals. That cell phone that everybody's got in their hand right now has 65 minerals off the periodic table in a single cell phone. We got ourselves out of the mining business in America. China is taking advantage of that. We got to get ourselves back in it. We graduated 36,000 lawyers last year in America, and about 300 students graduated with mining and metallurgical degrees. We have to mine, baby, mine, or we're not going to be a secure country.
I like that. We heard drill, baby, drill. Now it's mine, baby, mine, a new line from the Interior Secretary. Doug Burgum, we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ed. Congratulations.
Coming up, your briefing on President Trump back on the road again, stating his case in Iowa for how the economy is coming back big time. Pointing out he's putting a lot of money back in your pockets. Economist Peter Morici joins us next on the Trump economic comeback.
But today, just after 1 year of President Trump, our economy is booming, incomes are rising, investment is soaring, inflation has been defeated.
Lennox voice control stuff.
Hi, I'm John Bachman, and what I love about Newsmax is having the opportunity to build something from the ground up. I came here from local news over a dozen years ago because I wanted to have a more honest conversation with the audience, and I love that Newsmax gives me the opportunity to do exactly that.
Hi folks, we're back. If you've been injured in an accident that's not your fault and you don't have an attorney, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions and tell you what your case is potentially worth. Pick up the phone, call now.
If you've been in an accident that wasn't your fault, you could be entitled to potentially significant financial compensation. So pick up that phone and call the number on your screen now. I said right now.
Which is basically repeating the
call now, not later now. I don't hear the phone ringing. I'd call you, but I don't have your number. I know you're watching. Yes, you. Just pick up the phone and call.
Call your favorite attorney now. He'd call you, but he doesn't have your number.
Sometimes it's hard to see past the looming repair and replacement costs all around your house. Finally, you can stop seeing money and start saving money with First American Home Warranty. First American covers the systems and appliances you depend on every day. air conditioning, refrigerator, washer and dryer, electrical, plumbing, even your garage door opener, and more.
We've had our hot water tank replaced, washer fixed, upstairs and downstairs AC units fixed or replaced.
If there's one guarantee in home ownership, it's that things are going to break down. That's
Linux
why
voice
I tell
control
all my customers,
restarted.
get First American before your next repair.
There's always something that's going to break.
When an appliance or system breaks down, First
Small
American sends a
disciplines
trusted
repeated become
contractor to fix
destiny.
it. And if they can't repair
You're
the
already
item, we'll make sure they replace it.
When you put in a request for service, it's like that.
We had a contractor out within 24 hours because he said, I didn't want you guys to go another day without heat.
As a contractor, they're so easy to deal with. They truly want me to do right by their members.
Members pay low monthly rates with unlimited claims and 24/7 customer service. And filing a claim does not increase your rate.
We've saved thousands of dollars with First American that we've been able to reinvest into our home.
I looked at more than one, and this was the best.
First American has been a trusted name for decades and is highly rated by customers on major review sites.
They follow through on what they say they're going to do. That's everything.
But with all the repairs that have come through First American, the plan has been paid for many times over.
And now you can lock in your low monthly rate. All plans include a no questions asked money back guarantee and flexible payment options so you can never pay for covered repairs again.
Call 1-800-917-5047. That's 1-800-917-5047 for your free no obligation quote. So call now.
Economic growth is exploding to numbers unheard of. They've never had them before in recent times, and now, and we're just getting started. You know, the great, big, beautiful bill, which is no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our seniors. Do we have any?
The machine obeys instantly.
Welcome
but
back to
wisdom
your briefing
arrives
on
slowly.
how we are just getting started, as you heard the president right there say, started in terms of a big economic comeback. He was at a fiery rally in the heart of the country, Iowa, this week to highlight all the big successes he's had during just 1 year back in office. We got a briefing on the economic recovery from economist Peter Morici. He's a professor of business at the University of Maryland. We spoke to him right after the president's speech.
A rainbow is a meteorological phenomenon
about this economic recovery, that he feels the golden age is upon us and that it's only just beginning. As you know, his Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is saying economic growth can reach 7 or 8% this year. Do you believe it?
Well, that's a bit hyperbole, but I do believe that we are in a paradigmatic era. It's the equivalent of Thomas Edison and electricity, the Transcontinental Railway. We are really seeing a revolution in American business that the president is really supporting. It's artificial intelligence. And I'm not talking about ChatGPT trying to, give you an Einstein for a chat box, but rather all these applications that are going out into business, what we're seeing is a huge productivity boost. We're not adding more than, say, 50,000 jobs a month, but yet we're growing at 2.5% a year. During the Biden years, we needed 150,000 jobs a month to grow at 2.5%. So that tells me if we can just reskill some of the people that have been laid off by AI, get them into training programs and so forth, which, by the way, this administration really supports and pioneered in Trump 1, then I think that we can grow at 3.5% a year without a problem. And I have an article coming forward soon. I'm going to explain how that will help solve the debt problem. So my feeling is we're in much better shape than the naysayers think.
Process 21, quarantine 0.
And stirring up, trouble in Minneapolis to appreciate the fact that these are bloody good times.
Yes, I agree with you. And we enjoy your writing. People can check it out at newsmax.com and look up Peter. Interesting that you mentioned the AI revolution, because I follow the markets pretty closely, and there are some people who are very bullish, as you are and as I am, I think. But I say I think because there's a lot of articles out there, as you know, taking the other side of the coin and saying that this bull market on Wall Street is being propped up by a handful of companies heavy in the AI space, like a NVIDIA. And I don't want to get in the weeds on that, but the point is what it means for real Americans is that it might be kind of an artificial bubble in the stock market that could burst at some point because it's not a healthy market in the eyes of some. What do you think as an economist?
My feeling is this is the year that we spread the gains from just the Mag 7 to the other 493. We started to see that in January, and my feeling is that's going to continue. Now, the tech sector, you have to recognize, is a changing space. We're going to see more growth and more profits from the companies that make the applications. That show other companies in the rest of the economy how to save labor, how to get more done with less. And that's happening in the banking sector, by the way, big time. And that's really productive because those service industries would eat up a lot of labor, but not give us a lot of outcomes. Now, I think we're going to see a lot of smaller companies that design these apps, so to speak, do very well.
So when you mentioned the Mag 7 being the magnificent 7 companies like NVIDIA that I mentioned, the other 493 in the S&P 500, which basically keeps hitting records. But then again, skeptics say, why is gold so high right now? It keeps reaching record highs. Well, geopolitical developments and people being concerned.
You have 2 groups of people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Gold is a fear asset. And let's face it, what we've been through is Venezuela, Iran. Any day now, something could happen. The Greenland crisis, people rioting literally in Minneapolis. I mean, irresponsible behavior on a governor who tells people to go out and essentially block ISIS. My feeling is that those things don't play well with international investors. Not only is gold up, the dollar's down, but the people that invest in the market focus on other kinds of things. They notice how resilient American business is, how it's unshaken by these developments, and how they keep producing goods, selling them to Americans, and how resilient the U.S. consumer is. You know, over and over again, we hear that the U.S. consumer is going to wilt, and it doesn't. Yes. Or they don't. And so my feeling is that, you know, you can look at the naysayers, but as we came into this year, all the stock market analysts, the people that track the potential profitability of American companies, were bullish, almost to the last one. In fact, FactSet shows that the profits of the other 493 are expected to accelerate this year, to grow, you know, much more rapidly than they have in the last 2 years. And my feeling is, you know, what's not to like?
Right. Those S&P 500 companies, they see lower regulation from the government because of President Trump. They see lower taxes, in addition to individuals getting no tax on tips and everything the president said. There's one more word
I got. That's another thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's another thing. The economy is about to get a big jolt from the tax returns.
Yes.
Because a lot of the benefits that Donald Trump and Speaker Johnson put into the bill kick in this year, but they were made retroactive to 2025, but they weren't in the withholding sheets, the withholding rates. And so we're going to have really big tax returns and then permanently lower taxes. On top of that, a lot of this is being paid for with the tariff revenue. You know, the big, beautiful bill basically adds about $330 billion a year to the deficit. But I estimate that the tariffs will bring in about $300 billion a year. $30 billion, that's chicken feed when you're talking about
Absolutely.
a $30 trillion economy. It's not. Now the question is, do we really get the bang out of the AI? Because then the deficit, the debt will go down.
Coming up, your briefing on President Trump saving lives. And of course, the media doesn't want to give him any credit for dramatically cutting the number of deaths from fentanyl. Newsmax is real news for real people, so we will get an on-the-scenes report from an emergency room.
What do you pay attention to grows? What are we growing to get?
We go to the front lines of the fentanyl crisis next.
Just to show you what I've got going here, down here, I've got...
Hi, I'm Ed Henry. I've worked at a lot of networks, but I love Newsmax the most because we are real news for real people. It's not just a slogan. We actually believe in the power of the people.
Hi, folks. We're back. If you've been injured in an accident that's not your fault and you don't have an attorney, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions and tell you what your case is potentially worth. Pick up the phone, call now.
What will you do when the power goes out? Power outages can be unpredictable and inconvenient, but with a Generac home standby generator, your life goes on uninterrupted because you'll have power when you need it the most.
The number one thing to prepare for is extended power outages. Don't make it so hard.
Have
a Generac home standby generator.
And we try to show financing and low monthly payment options are available. Call or go online now to request your free quote.
What about saluting our fighter pilots?
If you've been in an accident that wasn't your fault, you could be entitled to potentially significant financial compensation. But that potential financial compensation could be a lot more significant when you have a legal professional fighting for you that only gets paid when you win. When you call that number on your screen, you'll find out how much your case could be worth for free and get connected to a professional who can help.
Well, that would knock out the
Attorneys don't get
filibuster.
paid.
Knocked out the
I don't get paid.
filibuster.
So pick up that phone
It'll
and
go
call
away.
the number on your
You
screen
people
now.
that wouldn't do that.
I said right now.
Crazy. Look, we should knock
Call
out the
now,
filibuster.
not later now.
And if you did that,
I'll
we'd
get your
get
phone
the
ringing.
voter ID.
Listen, I'd
You'd
call
have,
you, but I don't have your number. I know you're watching. Yes, you. Just pick up the phone and call.
To get a windfall, you first need to call. Call your favorite attorney now. He'd call you, but he doesn't have your number.
877-1896. Like Senator Collins, so is that
a in this PC.
Whether because of discomfort, lack of mobility, your lifestyle, or occupation, you sit inactively way too many hours a day. Introducing Ellipse, the premium quality automatic seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation without physical strain or impact.
It is so quiet that none of my coworkers even know I'm using it.
Strengthen and tone your legs, increase your mobility, flexibility, and balance. Plus, stimulate healthy circulation.
My joints feel better, my knees feel better, my back feels better. It makes me feel stronger too.
Perfect for home therapy. Whisper quiet to use while you work.
My circulation is moving, I'm burning calories, and it makes me feel energetic.
Call now and order Ellipse, the seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation. Call and get upgraded to the Deluxe Bundle. Get the faster motor for 5 miles of steps per hour, the step counter, the sport mat, and wireless remote. Call now.
Welcome back to your briefing on President Trump dramatically upending the fentanyl crisis, all because he shut down the southern border. When it comes to illegal drugs, few have caused as much devastation and death as fentanyl. But there's some encouraging news tonight, which the fake news is ignoring. I wonder why. Maybe because fentanyl deaths have plunged in the last year. Obviously, since the president came back to power. Take a look at this chart.
Respecting Johnny's right to mental quiet is a choice worthy of this.
About 2,700 last year. That's down big time from the Joe Biden days when there were, yes, more than 6,000 deaths a month. More than 6,000. The deadliest period spanning from 2022 to 2024, all on the watch of Biden and Kamala Harris. Our next guest says the president deserves all the credit. We could talk to a pundit, but we decided to go to a doctor and get on the front lines of fentanyl. Get a briefing from emergency room physician, Dr. Raul Garcia from Washington State. Here's our conversation. You know, we could talk to a pundit, but it's better to get the scoop from a physician on the front lines of this fentanyl crisis. What are you seeing in the emergency room now where you work compared to before?
Well, I'll give you a clue. We used to see about 10 to 12 overdoses a day.
A day?
And yeah, a day. Every time that I would work 12 hours, I would see 5 to 6 overdoses. And the numbers were staggering. So right now, we could go 3 days without an overdose. And that is very significant. You know, when I ran for U.S. Senate, that was one of the main topics of my campaign because the fentanyl crisis was so bad here in Washington. We walked 185 miles here for fentanyl awareness. And since I said this in public, you know, I've been pummeled with emails saying, it's not Trump, it's not Trump, it's not Trump. And I'm just trying to be objective. This is what I see in the front lines, and I'm going to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, you work in Washington State, and you're telling me that people are emailing saying, you're lying, it's not, they have such Trump derangement syndrome, because I know some people out there are saying it's that there's more Narcan out there that battles the fentanyl if someone's in the middle of an overdose, and it's not really Donald Trump. So they won't even give him credit for that?
6501, 1044.
Yeah, I don't think that they want to give them credit for anything. And sure, everything has helped, right? Our awareness that we did, I think that helped. Everything that we do every day to fight this great deadly drug helps. But the very significant change is when we close the border, and we have to give credit to that. When you have no supplier coming in, then that number is going to decrease. And I have seen it every day now in the emergency department. Very, very happy with it, and I am going to give the president the credit for it.
So last thing, I mean, it's remarkable that you're crediting not just the president, but his policy specifically around the border. When you think about the anarchists in some cases, these leftists who are in Minneapolis and other cities standing up for criminals, some of whom have brought fentanyl into this country, some of whom have been convicted of drug crimes, have been poisoning our children and grandchildren.
Greetings, Johnny.
Leftists are standing up for them. Your final thought.
Every sovereign nation should have the right
Plugins.
to know who comes in and out of their country, and should have the right to know what they're bringing into their country. So closing our borders and making sure that our America is healthier is a prime directive of our government, and I think President Trump is doing it.
Coming up, one brave woman on Long Island is pushing back after years of New York State trying to force a high school to drop its Native American-themed mascot. We speak to the face of that fight. Real news for real people at Newsmax here, and we try to shake out the woke agenda next.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases
abandoned houses so they become opportunities for and the registration of them. Right. I mean, the chief, no, he's not there, but most of our fires over the last quarter have been vacant buildings. I asked him to actually, he'll send me reports when there's a fire. Good. And I'm asking him now, is it a vacant home or an active home? And most of them are vacant. And so we're spending tons of dollars on our fire department to respond to vacant homes that we don't know are vacant.
If you don't know, the neighbor ran over and knocked on two other houses. One